Hello, community. I hope this video finds you well. For today's video, I'd like to speak a little bit about living a spiritual life on the earth plane and how we engage in life in a spiritual way, and more specifically, how we are showing up in relationships. And what does it actually mean to live a spiritual life on the earth plane in a relationship? So, one of the areas that I've been challenged with, and I've watched my clients be challenged with as well, is this area of relationships when we're talking about another person making me feel a certain way. And we all do this, right? We all find ourselves in that inner dialogue, especially, or outward dialogue, blaming another person for making me feel a certain way. Well, if we're choosing to live a spiritual life and we're choosing for evolutionary growth, we know that this is not possible. And another person can certainly trigger and certainly tear off the womb of old injuries in our psyche. Remember, we all feel based on the past. So if someone is, quote unquote, making me feel a certain way, one of the first questions I always ask myself is, or I say to myself, well, and this is by myself, not while I'm in dialogue with somebody. Well, it's normal that I feel X, Y, and Z when someone does X, Y, and Z. And so to remind myself that I am an evolutionary being and I chose to be on the path of spiritual growth and I chose to be in the world this way. And when I do that, I use the world, other people, even situations, as a mirror to see what's inside in the depths of my unconscious. And when I do that, these challenges are now gifts. They're not comfortable. And they may not be what we want. However, they do have a message for us. They do have a gift for us if we're choosing evolutionary growth and we are choosing to heal those places within. So we are making a commitment to integrate into all parts of our psyche. We are making a commitment to learn about ourselves, to be conscious human beings, remembering that there's many realms of reality and there's many levels of consciousness that are playing out at multiple times. So when someone does something on the surface in the current day that really sends me into a spiral, I'm not saying that I'm saying excuse all bad behavior and just do self-blame. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying we use these opportunities to heal my piece of it, right? Because my charge that's possibly lasting longer than 24 hours, that's my charge. That there's something there for me. You know, many people are messy and many people are hurtful, and it is normal to be hurt or angry by someone's bad behavior. But when I stay angry and when I stay triggered or when I go into a rant inside my own mind, I know there's something there for me, about me, right? So this work, obviously, like I've always said, is for ourself, by ourself, with ourself. And we want to validate that given my history, my past, my reference points, it's normal that I react this way, or I am reacting to someone else's reaction. So, because we're all doing that as well. And those are all triggers for us. So once I identify, this reminds me of X, Y, and Z. I am assuming based on my past that this means this. Those are all narratives about ourselves and about our own past. And they were happening when we were much younger and much more powerless. What we want to remind ourselves, how we want to be conscious, is to bring ourselves up into the mature current day age that we are, so that we speak with maturity and we respond with maturity, not based on old past hurts that we're blaming somebody else for. Meanwhile, the perpetrator probably isn't even in the room. But when we share from there in the first party, and we share this with our loved ones without blaming them, we share what's going on for us in a way that does not demean or put ourselves down as a sensitive person. We're basically sharing what it means for us when we experience a certain experience. And we share from there. We don't need their agreement. We don't need them to say, oh, yes, I understand. If we feel safe enough to share with our friend or partner from that place, we're telling them something about us. And we're sharing places in our past that have shaped us, possibly. And right there, we are developing emotional intimacy. We do not need them to validate. We need to validate ourselves first. And then if we feel safe enough, we share from there in first party. We don't need them to agree. That's sometimes, or to take on our problem and fix it. Our situation happened many years ago. So I need to first be with myself and integrate those places from my past into my current by bringing myself compassion and honor and respect, and just hold ourselves until we feel safe. And when we do this, we become much more grounded inside, so that when we do share with another person about our experience, the energy in the story will be much more grounded, and they'll be able to hear it without feeling like they're being blamed and without feeling like they have to fix it. And right there, we start developing emotional intimacy with our partners. But first, I have to have it for myself. So I hope this was helpful. There's much more to talk about in this subject, but just a little tidbit on how to start creating emotionally intimate relationships here on earth, and possibly maybe with someone who's not even that spiritual. They don't need to be spiritual. We've chosen this path. So I'd love to hear your comments, and wishing you a beautiful week. Bye.